how pathetic these PS Vita cases look.
Do they come with documentation at all, or is it all
No,
digital?
this is it. This is it. What you
Yeah.
see is what you get. That is it.
The
Wow.
And you have a
they
little
have
spot
full
for
manual.
a manual, but there's nothing. There's nothing there. It's like there it is. Nothing.
That is to keep your baseball cards. Now they have full digital manuals, fully illustrated and everything, like on the card. You open up a. Let me see if I can show it. I don't know what I've got plugged in here, but it's fully illustrated and just like it would be a normal paper manual, all with individual styles. It's not like it's all uniform, like just white screen with basic things. They
Then it's
depending on
not
the
like a normal manual at all. These days you get a manual, it's like 6 pages. 2 pages are limited warranty information. 1 page is the table of contents. You get your basic control map and a rundown of some special abilities. You might get a page of flavor.
So I've got Little Deviants here, which is a shit game, and you press the little manual icon, and that loads up the instruction manual, and then you just kind of flick it along, and it's got all this stuff, legalese, and then it's got everything there. This is actually a really boring one that I selected. This is just text, but the Dynasty Warriors one has like full screenshots and artwork and everything, just all digitally held. So they are full manuals with all the information. And a lot more that you get than you get on a paper manual these days. So they are there. It's just as Brett said, it kind of looks pathetic when you open the box up and it's this wiggly little card. But don't worry, I'm pretty sure that little holding tab will be used for online passes and DLC codes and all the other shit that they want to put in there. So don't worry, I think we'll be sorted.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, it's a lovely system. I'm enjoying it. Quite cool.
It looks like a lovely piece of hardware. I mean, just like the PSP looked like a lovely piece of hardware, and I know that there are going to be great games for it. I just can't see room necessarily in my life for it at this point. I mean, if you guys weren't covering all of the games for review, I would probably get one to do work on, and that's,
Yeah, I mean, well, the PSP was a great piece of hardware. It's just the excuses to use it were few and far between. People will argue that it had incredible support and there are loads of games on it, and it does have a robust library after 5 years. But the gaps between those releases, like real must-have PSP releases, were huge. Upwards of 6 months in between, and this was spread over 5 years. And I didn't like that because I like the PSP. I like having an excuse to turn it on. So not having those excuses is something I didn't like, and that kind of annoyed me. At least with the PS Vita, there seems to have been ways that Sony have indicated they knew what was wrong, or at least now know what was wrong with the PSP and even the PS3. Like, this thing has got the cross-game chat in it. It's got a faster infrastructure. Like, I can get up friends and accept friend requests and do all sorts of online stuff on the Vita far quicker than I can do on the PS3, which is kind of embarrassing for the PS3, but fantastic for the Vita. Like, everything's faster and more user-friendly and more intuitive. Some people have complained about the new sort of smartphone-resembling touch screen, the sort of the front page you get, but I like it. I like the little icons and stuff, and I just think it's quicker to navigate than the old XMB. So, and that coupled with the launch library we've got, where a lot of them are shit, but there are some really interesting things that have come out as well, and a lot of stuff to choose from right out the gate, which again indicates that Sony is starting to learn that this thing sells on software, not just hardware. And we'll see whether that attitude carries on in the coming months, but I certainly hope so, because I would like a lot of excuses to turn on the Vita.
I think one of the exciting things for me is the varied pricing system they're doing with the games. Like, right now, the only $50 game at launch is Uncharted, and from there, there's like tiers. There's like $40 games and there's $30 games. And I think that's a very smart move. So not asking the same price for everything.
Definitely. I mean, a fluid pricing system is something I think the games industry has needed. Just
Oh,
having
absolutely.
$60 for everything.
I mean, you look at some of the success, and we've seen very few games that attempted to try, the $20 at retail or $40 retail model. But by and large, when that happens, I think those games sell far more successfully than they ever would have at the full price point.
Yeah, I mean, I always think about Enslaved, Namco, the Ninja Theory game that came out during a busy release period, which didn't help. You got a brand new untested IP, and it launched for $60, and we all saw what happened to that, i.e., nothing. I mean, this idea that everything must be a set price really needs to change, especially in the incoming digital era where stuff is a lot more fluid and things are expected to not have prices that, because I mean Steam especially has spoiled us. We're used to the idea that you can get games if you hold out for as low as $2 a pop, and people are used to that. They're used to these changing price structures and these lightning hot deals. So having a static "this game is $60 forever" situation just isn't going to work, and I'm glad the Vita's changed that, because the PlayStation Store when the PSP Go came out and tried to be all digital was fucking jank. So I'm glad to see that they're being a bit more flexible, because big publishers need to do that now. They've got to get their head out their asses and stop this arrogant, well, I'm Electronic Arts, or I'm Activision, I should be able to charge the premium for everything I do. No, that's kind of changing now, so let's be a bit more flexible and compromise a bit more.
As the guy who didn't spend any money on a PSP Go, I'm really glad that Sony put that product out there and field tested their awful digital distribution model before simply just applying it to their actual next generation hardware. So thank you, Sony.
Yeah, fuck you, Sony, from myself. But in hindsight, at least as someone who cares about the handheld gaming in general, I am glad that Sony had a chance to fuck up, and fuck up immensely, and is now kind of. It seems to be treading in the right direction with the Vita. It's not perfect, but it is far better, and I'm excited. I'm excited to see how well the digital sort of stuff works, at least in North America. Whether people are going to embrace this sort of fluid pricing structure. I certainly hope so, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. And it was a wise move to have physical alternatives, because it keeps GameSpot sweet and everything. But while it's doing that, offering these cheaper prices on the digital side is kind of undercuts GameStop while still giving them something. So I think they're doing a good way of compromising and keeping everyone happy, which again is something I don't think Sony really nailed down before now. I think they're kind of reaching this point where they're realizing, oh, we can't just put anything out on the market, put a PlayStation logo on it, and instantly become beloved, which I think they've become a little bit humble in recent months, and that's not a bad thing at all.